royal favoritism or royal shame. Allegations of Prince Andrew's extravagance spark outrage. New accusations are surfacing, painting a disturbing portrait of Prince Andrew's alleged behavior, detailing a pattern of extravagance and entitlement exhibited during official international trips. These claims are sparking intense debate about the proper use of taxpayer funds, a sensitive issue that has ignited public anger. Once a celebrated figure, the Duke of York is now under intense scrutiny as questions mount about his conduct and the potential misuse of his position. Royal historian Andrew Loney's revelations detail alleged misbehavior during a taxpayer-funded trip to Thailand, sparking widespread condemnation. The accusations suggest a shocking exploitation of royal authority, a betrayal of public trust that has sent shockwaves through the nation. Loney asserts that the Thailand trip involved 40 women and a stay at a luxurious hotel, a detail that has particularly incensed the public. The week-long visit may represent a blatant misuse of public funds, a slap in the face to ordinary citizens struggling to make ends meet. The palace is reportedly responding as the situation intensifies, but many feel the response is too little, too late. How did Andrew's purported behavior escalate to this point, and what other palace secrets remain concealed? Nishu's Sand Kansi, waiting to be unearthed. The public demands answers, and the pressure is mounting on the royal family to provide them. Andrew's reputation has suffered what many consider irreparable damage, a permanent stain on his legacy. His royal responsibilities have been revoked, honors stripped, and even his residence at Royal Lodge is now in question, a sign of his diminished standing within the monarchy. Loney traces the origins of this alleged conduct back to Andrew's appointment as the UK's trade envoy in 2001, a critical juncture. This appointment, intended to boost British business, may have instead enabled alleged personal excesses, raising serious questions about the vetting process and the oversight mechanisms in place. At 41, Andrew was already wealthy and privileged, seemingly well-positioned for life, enjoying the fruits of royal life. Loney suggests he may have been undergoing a midlife crisis at the time, a period of personal turmoil that allegedly led him down a dangerous path. Instead of prioritizing public service, he allegedly abused his influential position for personal gain, a profound breach of trust. This alleged betrayal has shaken the foundations of the monarchy, prompting calls for greater transparency and accountability. The most disturbing allegations involve the Thailand trip, which coincided with the Thai king's birthday celebrations, a significant occasion. This timing adds insult to injury, suggesting a profound lack of respect for both the Thai people and the British taxpayers who funded the trip. This official visit was entirely financed by British taxpayers, raising ethical concerns and sparking outrage across the political spectrum. Loney claims Andrew insisted on staying at a luxurious 5-star hotel, bypassing the more modest embassy accommodations, a display of alleged arrogance that has further fueled public anger. He reportedly extended his official schedule by adding 2 weeks of personal time to the trip, blurring the lines between official duty and personal indulgence. This alleged pattern reportedly recurred on numerous subsequent trips raising further concerns and fueling the firestorm that, now, engulfs the prince. Loney claims that 40 women were allegedly paid to visit Andrew's hotel suite over a 4-day period, a startling claim and a shocking revelation that has dominated headlines worldwide. His claims are supported by multiple sources including a Reuters correspondent and even a member of the Thai royal family, lending credibility to the allegations. These sources provide a chilling account of alleged misconduct, painting a picture of a royal out of control. Further allegations even suggest encounters with prostitutes occurred at Buckingham Palace itself, a stunning accusation that, if true, would represent a profound breach of security and a deep betrayal of the public trust. Loney claims Andrew seemingly had no moral compass, a damning assessment and a harsh judgment of the prince's character. He allegedly viewed his trade envoy role as an opportunity for personal pleasure and profit, blurring the lines of propriety and abusing his position for personal gain. He allegedly mixed business deals with personal pursuits during government trips, all under the guise of official diplomacy. A serious abuse of power that has raised questions about potential corruption. Charles, then the Prince of Wales, reportedly cautioned against appointing Andrew to such a sensitive role, a prophetic warning that now seems tragically prescient. He reportedly feared Andrew would prioritize chasing women and playing golf over his official duties, a prescient observation that has been validated by the recent allegations. History, it appears, may have tragically validated those early concerns. A sad confirmation of the prince's alleged lack of judgment and his disregard for the responsibilities of his position. Loney contends that Andrew's alleged behavior was enabled by a network of diplomats, aides, and royal staff, a culture of complicity that allowed the prince to operate with impunity. They were either too afraid or too loyal to intervene, fostering a toxic environment and allowing the alleged behavior to flourish unchecked. Andrew was reportedly known for his temper, his unreasonable demands, and his complete refusal to accept no for an answer, a portrait of alleged entitlement that has alienated many who worked with him. Insiders paint a picture of an individual who treated his government position as a private privilege, a perilous attitude that fostered corruption and betrayed the public's confidence, seemingly prioritizing personal gain over ethical duty. Behind closed doors, he allegedly exploited his royal privilege for personal enrichment, a betrayal of his oath and a violation of the trust placed in him. The scandal extends far beyond mere personal excess, reaching into a potential corruption, raising serious legal questions that could have far-reaching consequences. Loney alleges Andrew used his powerful position to advance the financial interests of both himself and his close associates, a grave accusation that could lead to criminal charges. Businessman David Rowland reportedly benefited significantly from Andrew's access and influence, a case of alleged favoritism that has raised concerns about the integrity of the royal family's business dealings. He allegedly secured crucial meetings and even a Middle Eastern banking license through Andrew's direct interventions, a clear example of alleged abuse of power that demands a thorough investigation. Documents detailing these controversial trips and dealings remain sealed away in government archives, fueling speculation and raising suspicions of a cover-up. The lack of transparency surrounding these documents has only intensified public anger and fueled calls for full and independent inquiry. Adding to the already bizarre picture of eccentricity, Andrew O. reportedly demanded his staff meticulously arrange his 40 teddy bears on his bed daily, following a very specific chart, a strange and unsettling detail that has become a symbol of the prince's alleged detachment from reality. Since being forced to step back from the royal family, he has allegedly taken out his mounting frustrations on staff due to his increasing isolation, a sign of alleged petulance and a further indication of his alleged inability to take responsibility for his actions. Loney describes a virtual conspiracy of silence surrounding Andrew's high alleged actions, a wall of secrecy that has protected the prince for far too long. Files that should have been made public years ago remain stubbornly classified, hidden from view, raising questions about transparency and accountability within the royal system. The longer they remain hidden, the more questions and suspicions inevitably arise, damaging public trust and eroding faith in the monarchy. For years, the palace reportedly attempted to manage the growing damage through various means, a strategy of containment that ultimately failed to prevent the current crisis. They allegedly issued quiet warnings, brief suspensions, and attempted to keep Andrew out of the public eye as much as possible, a damage control operation that proved to be woefully inadequate. However, King Charles has now taken decisive action, signaling a shift in approach and a new era of accountability within the royal family. He stripped Andrew of his remaining royal honors and instructed him to vacate his residence at Royal Lodge, sending a clear message that the prince's alleged behavior will no longer be tolerated. The Thailand trip was clearly not an isolated incident, but part of a larger pattern, a disturbing trend of alleged misconduct that has finally caught up with the prince. During Andrew's 2010 taxpayer-funded trip to Hong Kong, staff allegedly witnessed a constant stream of paid escorts visiting his hotel suite, raising eyebrows and causing concern among those who witnessed the alleged behavior. While technically legal in Hong Kong, organized procurement of such services is not, adding another layer of complexity and further complicating the Yoljiao. No on shoot session sold, count. This makes the claims particularly damaging, especially considering Andrew's official role, the very public nature of the visit, and the extensive use of British taxpayer funds, a triple blow to the prince's already tarnished reputation. The official court circular confirms Andrew's busy schedule of business meetings, bank visits, and high society dinners in both Hong Kong and mainland China, a carefully constructed facade that masked the alleged impropriety taking place behind the scenes. However, behind the scenes, his private behavior was reportedly an open secret, according to numerous aides interviewed for documentaries and books. A whisper campaign that has finally reached a crescendo. These accusations are further compounded by a broader pattern of alleged misconduct, a series of incidents that paint a troubling picture of the prince's behavior over the years. Former staffers have described a constant flow of women visiting his rooms on overseas trips, painting a disturbing picture and a troubling image of the prince's alleged activities, Loney portrays a man driven by compulsive sexual habits, not diplomatic focus or public service. A harsh assessment of the prince's alleged motivations. The financial aspect of these trips adds another layer of scrutiny and concern, forcing a focus on fiscal responsibility and the proper use of taxpayer funds. Investigators estimate that Andrew's flights and accommodation during his decade representing the UK abroad cost approximately $4 million, a staggering sum and an exorbitant expense that has sparked public anger. Some individual trips reportedly exceeded €90 in travel expenses alone, raising serious questions about fiscal responsibility and the oversight mechanisms in place to prevent such alleged abuses. Against this backdrop, claims of questionable relationships with well-connected figures in China paint an even more troubling picture. A web of alleged impropriety that demands a thorough investigation. A senior royal allegedly treated official overseas missions as personal playgrounds, with the public footing the substantial bill. An abuse of privilege that has outraged taxpayers and eroded faith in the monarchy. Sources close to the palace say Andrew is desperately clinging to what little he has left of his former life, a struggle for relevance in a world that has largely moved on without him. He remains defiant and refuses to accept that the monarchy has moved on without him, a state of denial that has only exacerbated his isolation. He reportedly spends his days secluded, isolated, and increasingly detached from reality, a tragic figure who has fallen from grace. One source even claims he has been spending his time playing video games alone in Royal Lodge, a symbol of his isolation and his alleged inability to cope with his dramatic downfall. Friends say he is bitter and blames others for his dramatic downfall, refusing to take responsibility for his actions and exhibiting a lack of accountability that has alienated many of his former allies. With the king's patience finally exhausted, Andrew's days of protection and privilege are definitively over, an end to an era of alleged impunity. There will be no more quiet deals, no more cover-ups, and no more special treatment, marking a significant shift and a new standard of accountability within the royal family. His alleged arrogance and sense of entitlement have ultimately consumed him, leading to his downfall and serving as a cautionary tale for others who might be tempted to abuse their power. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of this entire story is the deafening silence that surrounded it for so long, a culture of secrecy that allowed the alleged misconduct to continue unchecked for years. Loney argues that this alleged behavior was part of a larger culture of indulgent secrecy and unchecked privilege within the royal system, a systemic problem that must be addressed if the monarchy is to regain public trust. No one dared to question it, fearing repercussions, creating a climate of fear that stifled dissent and allowed the alleged abuses to continue on. More damaging revelations may surface in the near future, potentially deepening the crisis and further jeopardizing the future of the monarchy. If the monarchy is to truly survive and regain public trust, it must demonstrate that even its most privileged members are held accountable for their actions, a commitment to justice and a willingness to confront the past. The cautionary narrative of Andrew unfolds, revealing not royal love or selfless duty, but a far more sinister lesson about the peril of believing oneself above the law. It is also a damning indictment of a system that allowed him to believe it for far too long, enabling his alleged behavior and fostering a sense of impunity that ultimately led to his downfall. He once proudly represented Britain on the world stage, but now he represents everything the monarchy must discard to secure its future. A symbol of what must change if the institution is to survive. His royal title is now gone, his lavish home may be next to go, and his public respect is already irretrievably lost, a complete fall from grace that serves as a warning to others. This is not just a minor royal setback, it is the complete dismantling of a once promising legacy, a total collapse that has shaken the foundations of the monarchy. This scandal serves as a stark reminder of the potential for abuse within systems of immense power and privilege, a lesson in accountability that must be heeded by all those in positions of authority. It underscores the urgent need for unwavering transparency and strict accountability even within the most privileged institutions, a demand for reform that cannot be ignored if the monarchy is to regain the trust of the public. As the dust settles on this unfolding drama, one thing remains clear. The monarchy is at a crossroads, and its future hinges on its ability to learn from the mistakes of the past and embrace a new era of transparency, accountability, and public service.